Oh yeah, I see it's live now.
All right. So definitely, so we're here on finally, without trial and error that transpired. We're here. Cast, man. Of course, I'm here. Also, I'm joined by my man, JB. What's going on, JB?
Not much. It's midnight here, Tuesday morning in South Korea. What's going on with you?
Just another Monday morning in the East. You know how
Yes.
I go.
Yeah. My Monday has come and gone.
Yeah. It's Victory Monday here in the East, so all is well.
Yeah. I had a victory Monday too.
Oh yeah, absolutely.
Yeah.
So, our first topic. We talked about, of course, this is the third week of the NBA season, because normally this would, in most cases, it would have been just the first week of the NBA season, and we both was discussing of how main reason and why a lot of teams are struggling because of just the early start that initial.
Yeah, man. I most definitely think that teams are struggling because of the season starting earlier, and you look at like a team like Cleveland, who we're going to talk about a little later. Um, they're a veteran team. They added a lot of new pieces, and I think that it's going to take a while for some of these teams who made a lot of big changes during the offseason to incorporate all of their pieces and to get going. So you look at Cleveland, who's struggling. Another team, when we spoke about this earlier, when you asked who did I think was going to be a potential disappointment this year, I said Oklahoma City, and Oklahoma City has been kind of a big disappointment thus far too. It's only 10 games in, so it's not really, that big of a deal. But Oklahoma City has yet to beat a good team yet. So I definitely think that them starting the year earlier has hurt a couple of teams. And you look at some teams that are not really struggling. It's because they had to make a lot of big changes during the off season, so they have continuity.
And another thing with mine is like it's and I agree with you, because you look at most of like the veteran laden teams. It's because of the fact it's a couple of things, but I look at standpoint looking at the young teams like the Orlando Magic, who are going out to a great start. When you like, and I think like I look at it like this, like these teams like the Orlando Magics of the world, other teams, even to an extent to Detroit. These young, and even out in the West, you got even the Lakers are doing their thing. They're just a bunch of spring chickens. So of course, ultimately boils down to Cleveland and Golden State. They know that where they're going. They know that to pick up their game in 2018. It is that this NBA season is a marathon, not a race. And it's definitely indicative of what we've seen in the first 10 games, where I know a lot of people have been saying like Cleveland is struggling, Golden State is struggling, this, that, and the third. But I think those guys understand that, hey, let's just pace ourselves. This is just the first week of November. Pace ourselves. And I'm not trying to negate the fact that, yeah, Cleveland is 4-6, and that is, uncharacteristic of Cleveland. But I think they understand at the end of the day, go out and have these efforts. It's like I was telling one of my homeboys, I think what Cleveland is doing is they're going to have situations where they're going to have those games where they lose to like the Brooklyns of the world, the Pace of the world. Those games like the Wizards or the Celtics, those teams who think they have a chance with them, they're going to go out and show it, just like what they did Friday, what Cleveland did with Friday, with LeBron scoring 57 against the Wizards. I think that's what they're going to ultimately do, and I think their pace is going to be picked up towards like January, February, right around that March, where they can gain ground. And that's why I think when you see the younger teams, where I think they're going to probably kind of tired out, get a little lethargic, because of course they're ready for a start. So a whole lot different.
Oh yeah, I agree. I agree. But I will say this though. Speaking of Cleveland, I do think that their start is a bit concerning, and I think that you can't really just say that they're like saving themselves, because look, man, let's just be honest. They're an old team. old teams are fresher at the beginning of the year than they are at the end of the year. So I don't think it's just this thing that they're saving themselves. And I think that, I'm a big believer in the eye test, and I'm a big believer in, a sample size. You look at Cleveland, the last 56 games that they played, they have a losing record. The last 56 regular season games that they played, they have a losing record. They also have one of the worst defenses in the league. So, look, I don't think that Cleveland is not going to make the playoffs, but I think that we have kind of taken for granted that, it's a done deal that they're going to represent the East. I think that they have some defensive issues that, can't be fixed. I really do. Like, you look at a lot of the guys that they signed this offseason, Chris. You look at Derrick Rose, you look at Dwayne Wade. These guys are older. They have injury history, and they're not good on defense anymore. Like, Dwayne Wade is atrocious on defense. Derrick Rose is not good on defense. The only person that they added to their team that's really good on defense is actually Jay Crowder, and Jay Crowder has been struggling. So I think that, Cleveland's going to be okay. They're going to make the playoffs. They should probably make a deep playoff run, but let's just be honest, man. Like, I think a lot of their issues are not just the fact that, they're saving themselves. I think that they have some legitimate defensive issues, and I'm looking back at last year, and let's just be honest, people are going to talk about the playoffs. Indiana was afraid of them. Toronto did not match up good with them, and Boston did not really match up well with them. I think that they have some issues that are not going to go away anytime soon.
Yeah, I agree with that as well. But like we're saying, like you said, and especially with those offseason moves, getting the guys, I'm like keen on they got D Wade and they got Derrick Rose, and I'm like, my thing is them going in the playoffs. The regular season, but I just want to see what this team is going to do in the playoffs. Because, to me, you got, like we said, they're both injury prone, and they're both all liabilities on defense. And then you couple with the fact, especially with the guy having a guy like Isaiah Thomas coming to the fold, where he's definitely a liability. So,
and one of the biggest,
like you said,
one of their biggest issues is they don't have a playmaker. They miss Kyrie Irving. Like, let's just call it what it is. Like, I think that people thought that Kyrie Irving was going to go to Boston. You look at what happened to Gordon Hayward the first game. I thought people were saying on social media, well, Boston's done. Boston still has a pretty talented roster. Do I think they make it to the finals? Probably not. Are they going to win 60 games? No, but Boston is not bad. And I thought Boston was going to struggle on defense. Boston has actually played solid defense thus far. So I think that, Isaiah Thomas is going to help them from the standpoint he gives them an extra playmaker. But I think a thing that's really concerning about Isaiah Thomas, Chris, me and you have watched basketball for years. What guy has come back from a hip injury and been the same guy within a year? Nobody has. Nobody has. Yeah, nobody that I'm aware of. And I think that, I think people keep on saying, well, wait until Isaiah comes. What if Isaiah Thomas isn't the same Isaiah Thomas? Or what if he doesn't even approach half of what Isaiah Thomas was last year? This team has some serious issues, and they're very vulnerable going forward. And I'll be honest with you, man. Like, if Isaiah Thomas is only half of what he was last year, there's a chance they don't even make it to the finals this year. I'm being honest with you, because if they don't make a deal, that defense that they have is lousy. They can't stop anybody. And to me, I think that you don't really compare yourself to the teams in the East. You compare yourself to the big boys out west. San Antonio, Houston, Golden State. I expect for Oklahoma City to get their act together at some point. If they keep on playing the way that they do, Chris, like, they're in for a rude awakening when they go out west.
Yeah. And it's funny, the Thomas thing, because people, you kind of, and I didn't even really realize that he just had the surgery. So how effective is he really going to be? And we talking about a year. We talking about now recovering months after.
Yeah.
No.
And I'm just interested as why he didn't have the surgery, like when he hurt himself last, because he got hurt last May. Why didn't he have the surgery like beginning of June?
Yeah, it make you. Was it? I'm just being a little conspiracy theorist. Like, was they didn't do it was maybe because of the fact they knew they were trying to get rid of him. You know,
Maybe.
that's what I think about.
Yeah,
If
maybe.
Because I guarantee you, Cleveland didn't know, they didn't have knowledge to the physical about the hip injury, but I wonder if they knew the severity of it, especially when it came to the physical.
Yeah, like I don't know why they did that, and then I also wonder why Cleveland accepted the deal without getting somebody like a Jason Tatum back. Cleveland's in a really interesting situation because you know what's going to happen this offseason. LeBron is going to hold them hostage again, and if LeBron leaves, they're going to go back to the dark ages again. So I don't understand why they made the deal, knowing that there's a chance that Isaiah Thomas doesn't recover from hip. And then also, if I'm not mistaken, Isaiah Thomas is a free agent at the end of the year, isn't he?
Yeah.
So I have no idea like what they're doing. It's going to be really interesting to see how the season plays out in Cleveland.
Yeah, and I definitely, and I know we talked about this off camera, but as far as what that Nets pick actually is going to be, now I'm wondering what they should do. Should they actually kind of, in a sense, trade for that pick to get somebody, because there's not a guarantee that this is going to be the number one pick in this year's draft. That pick deteriorates day by day because the speculation, because we're looking at Brooklyn, even though Brooklyn has one of the worst records per se, but there's not a 100% guarantee that they're having number one pick. And this draft, from what I've been looking at, guys, but if you slide down that 5-6 line, it's not worth it.
Yeah, Chris, you're absolutely right. I think that they need to go ahead and maybe they need to think about packaging that pick to get some help, because, like, I'm honestly going to say this. As this roster is constructed, they're not going to do anything substantial. If they do win the East, which I think is, up in the air, I'm not going to give them the East with this roster. Do you really think that they can beat Golden State with this roster, with the way it's constructed? I mean, Golden State beat them fairly easy in 5 games last year. Like, I would be inclined to say if they bring this roster to the finals again, like, it's a sweep.
Yeah, right. Even who's averaging 30 points a game, if we have the Isaiah Thomas of last year, or even on this team, it's and that's just being the king of wishful thinking. We know this. We're not gonna get that same Isaiah Thomas, especially off of a hip injury. Absolutely, yes. And then go down the line. I can say this, they have somewhat created depth. Think about it. What they bring to the table. Are they going to be able to help you down the line? We're looking at maybe about 7. Are these guys going to be able to hold up? You got a Derrick Rose. Okay, yeah, he looked great Friday, but how is he going to look in 7 months after playing 100 games? Way. And when you got him, is he going to be like 2014 Dwayne Wade, and where he pretty much we don't know what we're going to get from this team even 8 months down the line. It may look suspect now. It may even look even worse.
Yeah, like this is something that's really interesting. I think that people, like, we are prisoners of the moment sometimes. I think people went crazy when they saw all the acquisitions that they made, because you had those memes. Look at this team. Like, this team, the way it was constructed, it's a good team in 2011, 2012. Is it a good team in 2017? I don't think so. I mean, like it's not that great of a team in 2017. The game has changed. Like pre 3-point crazy, this team is really good. Now this team, parts of it are good, but I don't think it's a really, 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 really good team.
Yeah, and who knows? Definitely find out in the coming weeks and coming months how this if this gel or what other pieces they can get, and who's to say. Now, as far as to answer the question, as far as defensively, other moves you think Cleveland should make?
What other deal could they make? I don't know, man. Like I'm looking at the roster, man. Like I don't know how you make a deal to make the team even better, to make the team competitive. So if they make the finals, they have a fighting chance. I don't see what deal you can make. Like I mean, I've heard people talk about maybe package like that pick to New Orleans to get Boogie Cousins. Let's be honest, Boogie Cousins isn't a elite defender. I mean, Boogie Cousins can block shots, but Boogie Cousins is a bit of a liability on the defensive end sometimes. He gambles a lot. So, I mean, he makes them a better offensive team, but they don't need offense. They need defense. Their offense is fine. They have an elite offense, even though they're not hitting three-pointers at a high rate like they have been the last few years. They still have an elite offense. It's the defense that is worrisome.
That biggest problem, and that's what a lot of people are saying. That whole big like, if you're struggling for offense and say he's perfect or he can get you a nice mid-range game, but take possessions off. And it's evident. We know that he takes possessions off. And my thing is, their biggest problem isn't in bigs. They got to get to perimeter defenders. They got to get guys who can guard Clay, who can guard Steph. Mm-hmm. I still think LeBron and them can take care of the front court as far as when we're looking at Draymond or what have you. They can take care of that. They need actually some elite ones where they can contain with them. Boogie isn't the solution. Boogie is just a face for them. Like because we're in the business of names. It would be great if you're looking for names, but you're looking to win a title and defeat Golden State. You got to get better on the better perimeter defenders.
Well, and Chris, like they got Jay Crowder. Like you would have thought that Jay Crowder would have helped them out defensively. Jay Crowder looks like a lost puppy now. Like he doesn't know what to do. He doesn't look like he has that much energy. I know his mother died.
Yeah.
And I wonder if his mother dying has affected his play because he doesn't look like the same guy from last year. Because Jay Crowder, you can say whatever you want about him. He does have some limitations offensively, but he's a really good defender. I have yet to see it this year. And maybe his head is not in the right place because of, I haven't lost my mom. You haven't lost your mom. I would hate to, have to be a professional basketball player, play in front of, 20, 30,000 people every night and be grieving at the same time. So I honestly do think that that's, been something that maybe is affecting him.
Yeah. And I agree, and then coupled with the fact that after the trade, so you got to think about your business and your personal got intertwined within that same scope because it's already being in a situation of being traded and kind of getting away from your comfort zone. Then to lose, a parent, especially, and we all surmise, especially with, with our relationship with our mothers. The person, our guidance, the person who gives us direction and gives us structure and discipline. On top of you getting traded too. So I definitely, like you're saying, and this just happened in almost like 2.5 months ago. So of course that's still, like you're saying, I think that's what it ultimately boils down to. Because I mean, I couldn't imagine those two type of situations happening right at the same time. That's just gotta be like, devastating. First, but then having both of them time, it's terrible.
Oh yeah. Well, I mean, I remember we experienced something similar. We experienced we saw this as fans about 10 years ago with Matt Barnes with his mother dying. Remember, his mom passed away shortly before the 2007-2008 season started, and he had a really rough year with Golden State that year. So, like losing a parent, losing a family member, the heads off to IT last year, playing his guts out after his sister died, but like losing, family member, losing, even a friend or a loved one. It's really tough when you have to go out to work and you have to perform, and 20 thousand people are in the arena watching you, and then you have millions and millions of people watching you on TV. So
It's tough. Definitely, something that's wish that on anybody, but yeah, it was a very, very difficult. As far as with Cleveland situation, yeah, they really don't have pieces in a sense to give away. Person, even though as far as a player per se, the Tristan, but then when you think about it, he's essentially like one of your best defenders, which would be oxymoron.
Yeah,
yeah.
We were actually talking about this in Hoop Nation. Somebody had posted they were talking about possibly trading Tristan for Jahlil Okafor, which, by the way, would be a horrible deal. You're getting rid of probably one of your most athletic big man defenders for Jahlil Okafor, who, by the way, is pretty much he's like a slower version of Kevin Love with no range. So I don't think that would be a smart move. Yeah. I think that Philadelphia would like that. Philadelphia would love to take that deal and get Jahlil Okafor off their hands. I mean, although, you would be getting Tristan Thompson along with the Kardashians, which, is a jinx in its own, but.
That would be, interesting. And then with Philly take on his contract, that's the biggest thing too.
Yeah, that contract is not. That contract.
That's what I'm saying. You already got JJ Redick for a sizable amount. Definitely paying dividends for them, and man. And shout out to the Sixers, man. The Sixers, what they 5-4.
Yeah, they won. They won 4 games in a row. Yeah, they won. Over 500 since 2014.
And of course, they come into light. I definitely like what Ben Simmons is doing. That thing I hate with how people say Ben Simmons. They always trying to compare him to LeBron. I'm like, to me, his game is more almost like a Magic more so than a LeBron. Everybody's this whole like comparison is like to just because this guy LeBron is the best player in the game, not necessarily to it. People kind of put him in that box. Like what Ben Simmons is doing. I definitely like what your boy JJ Redick is doing, especially providing veteran leadership for this team and actually doing his thing. And of course Joel Embiid. For now, we're knock on wood. Hopefully, everything is going to work out for him.
Oh yeah. Well, the guy that you didn't mention that I think is really an unsung hero for Philadelphia this year is Covington. Covington is playing good basketball, and Covington, he's a free agent of the year, and I think that you have to give Covington about $15 million a year. I really think you do. He plays pretty good defense, and he shoots the basketball really well. So Covington and JJ Redick have actually provided more spacing for Simmons, which it's good. Like they're looking good. Like I said before, when we talk about our playoff teams, I didn't have Philly on my playoff teams because I was afraid of Embiid. If Embiid stays healthy, it's a playoff team, and they're easily a playoff team. If he doesn't stay healthy, then who knows?
Yeah. who's going to be very interesting. Going to be doing going forward. So yeah. So also, other things we got on the docket today before we put a ball on this week's EuroStep podcast.
So, what team to you has been the biggest surprise so far this year?
The biggest surprise, Orlando Magic. Of course, is and when I say a surprise, more so of one day and then the next they kind of fizzle. I like the direction they're going, especially with Frank Vogel and also what Jonathan Simmons is doing for the Orlando Magic. I definitely, they're the biggest surprise to me.
Oh yeah, no, they've definitely been a pleasant surprise. I think that we what Gordon has been doing for the Orlando Magic has been amazing, and then Vukovic has been having a nice year. Then along with they have pieces on that team, Evan Fournier, so they do have pieces on the team. They're very young, but I think that if they keep Frank Vogel there, they're gonna be better sooner than later if they keep Frank Vogel there. I hope that they don't get frustrated if they go on a big losing streak at some point this year and decide to get rid of Vogel. But they've been a good surprise. A player that I want to throw out that's been a really good surprise this year, Victor Oladipo. I'm gonna pick a bone here. There's our former high school classmate Jerome King. He was bashing Oladipo last year. He was talking about how Oladipo was garbage, this, that. Like, Oladipo has had a really good year. Do I think he's going to continue to shoot high 40s? No, I don't. But I think that he's definitely in the running. If he keeps, mid 40s, he keeps on getting the shots up. He's definitely most improved player candidate. And he might win it too because, our pick, Miles Turner, has been hurt for a while.
Yeah, because Victor Oladipo, like you said, I think now he's finally kind of coming to his own. I think what happens, especially with younger guys, I think we fail to realize that it does take these guys not a long time, but a few years to kind of get themselves going. And I think going to Indiana, is definitely going to, help him big time. And my thing is the OKC thing, that was just an anomaly. And I think he was even solid last year. Not to even, harken back to what happened last year, but I definitely thought he had a decent season last year.
Well,
and
he shot 44% from the field last year, and I keep on telling people this. People keep on saying, well, Russ doesn't have any help. I think that last year what happened, Chris, and I think me and you will probably both kind of agree with this somewhat. I think Oklahoma City was so hell-bent on getting Russell Westbrook the triple-double for the year that a lot of guys have to sacrifice. And I'm sorry, I don't think Oladipo's the kind of guy. He's not the kind of guy that's an off-the-ball player. He's the kind of guy that needs the ball in his hands, and Russell Westbrook is so ball dominant that his play suffered. So I think that's what happened. I kept on telling people that he wasn't garbage, and people kept on saying, "Oh, well, you don't know what you're talking about. Oladipo's garbage," and I said, "He's not garbage.
No, he's not." And my thing is, and now he's finally, and what it is he's the Russell Westbrook shadow. And in a sense, this is his team. And I think that's what a lot of people feel. You have a guy I think what happens is we get our minds get clouded because you see a superstar and we expect a guy to be almost matched to his level.
Oh yeah.
He's doing his biggest thing with him is he's balling. And it's just because maybe he's only averaging 18 and a half, he's mad. But hell, that's good. And like you're saying, then scoring at a 4 clip, that's great. And you seeing it now where he actually had this so year, and now you're seeing it now. So it's like, to me, and I think people finally starting to see what it's all about.
Yeah. Like, yeah, it's good for him. I'm gonna throw out. So I think a team that's been slightly disappointed. There are a couple of teams I want to throw out there. I think Denver has been a slight disappointment. They're 5-5 so far this year. They kind of had a really rough road trip out east. Oh, but going back to surprises, I know it's only been 10 games, but the Knicks have been kind of a pleasant surprise as well.
Yeah. Yes. Yeah. The Knicks, they're
5-4.
They're 5-4. Yeah, that's right. It's like, God, they're 5-4.
Oh yeah, and Coney and Coney has been, playing his what off. Like, I mean, he's been playing very good. I mean, he's looking like, a superstar in the making. I don't expect for them to continue to play as good as they are. They don't really have the most talented roster, but if they win 35, 36 games, that's better than what anybody thought they were going to do this year. Because, I mean, some people went as far as to say they were a 23, 24 win team, and I'm not seeing that. I think that they can win mid-30s.
Yeah. And that's perfect for them, because hell, who knows, in the East, you might mess around and be the AFC.
Yeah, they could. If they get to oh my God, like, can you imagine if they end up with the 8th seed and Oklahoma City like ends up with like the 6th seed out west? Like, can you imagine the amount of criticism Melo's going to get? Like, people were saying, well, Melo couldn't take the Knicks to the playoffs because the Knicks were garbage, and then Coney takes this ragtag bunch of like Knickerbockers like to the playoffs, and Melo has 2 other All-Stars, and they can't really do much out west. Can you imagine that?
The Melo slander would be real. Like, oh my goodness, like, Melo would get roasted.
Well, I'm gonna just say this: if Coney gets the Knicks to the playoffs, I'm doing unfiltered Melo slander on my Facebook for a week nonstop. I really am, because I think it's a bit ridiculous that like you have some players that get a lot of criticism and other players that don't get any criticism. I think Carmelo Anthony has been a player that has not really gotten his fair share of criticism. Think about it this way. We killed Chris Paul. Chris Paul's never made it to the conference finals. Melo's only made it to the playoffs, I think, in his career like 4 times. He's missed the playoffs. Chris Paul has been a fixture in the playoffs almost every year he's been in the NBA. He had, I think, a few years where he didn't make the playoffs, but we've killed Chris Paul for, and rightfully so. He's had, a couple of meltdowns in playoffs. Like, I'm thinking of the OKC game where he tried to draw the foul like 80 feet away from the basket, and Russell stripped him. And then, the 3-1, the blown 3-1 lead. But Melo has missed the playoffs a lot. He's only made it out of the first round 2 times. And yet people still talk about how great of a player he is. And, like, he couldn't even get the Knicks to the playoffs in the East. Kemba Walker got the Hornets to the playoffs twice. And Melo couldn't get the Knicks to the playoffs. And I think it's just, really, I don't know. I'm going on a tangent here. So I just think it's a bit ridiculous that, like, that people protect Melo like he does.
And that's interesting that, like, because a lot of people, and it's funny because people kill Chris Paul. Especially, they definitely killing him now because how the Clippers are playing. But like you're saying, with Carmelo, it's like, oh man, he's in New York. He don't have no choice. He just held prison there. Like, the Knicks are just bad. That's the reason why he's not there. But then, like you're saying, when it's deal with Chris Paul, who we got to think about it, even though have been like has been a historically bad franchise, for them to even make the playoffs in the years that Chris Paul was there, and My thing with him, I think what hurts him is because he's I wouldn't say he's more so like a dinosaur when it comes to the old school point guard that we loved when we were children. He was in that John Stockton kind of mode, and these guys, in a sense, not respecting what he actually brings to the table. Because to me, he's an old school point guard. So in a sense, he's like the dinosaur. Of course, we able to able to stack on him. But then, like you said, a guy like a Carmelo is like, okay, well, Carmelo, he's putting up 28. And the thing I hate with Carmelo is like, well, he's a finalist. But did the Knicks make the playoffs?
No, they didn't. And like the Knicks haven't made the playoffs since 2013, man. Like, come on, man. Like the Knicks missed the playoffs 4 straight years. 4 straight years. Like, it's ridiculous that you can't make the playoffs in the East. Like I said before, Kemba Walker took the Hornets to the playoffs twice in that time. Little Kemba Walker, under 6 foot tall, best player on the team. Are you kidding me? And Melo, 6'8", he can't take the Knicks at least to like the 8th seed or the 7th seed. Come on.
Yeah. Definitely shout out to Kemba and Jordan.
Yeah.
But yeah. I just don't know. I don't understand it. Like, I mean, to me, it's like you know. But then we bash Chris Paul, and Chris Paul's more accomplished than he has. Don't understand it. And that, you know, so funny because think about it. LeBron gets more heat than Carmelo. Like,
oh, I know he does. Like, I mean, like poor LeBron, he makes it to the finals every year. Yeah, he has a losing record, but like Carmelo is pretty much praised for losing. I don't know. I just think that social media and sports is just very hypocritical. We praise some people for putting up these big numbers on bad teams, but then players who put up, you know, all around good numbers, but they can't win, we kill them. Like, you know, like I don't know. I think it's people pick and choose. There was one guy I got into an argument about with this. Like, he is always bashing Steph Curry. Bashes Steph Curry all the time. He's nothing. All he can do is shoot threes. This same guy praises Russell Westbrook every chance he gets. Russell Westbrook, great player. Doesn't have. Really, are you serious? Russell Westbrook blew a 3-1 lead against Steph Curry, Klay Thompson, Draymond Green, and Russell Westbrook had Kevin Durant and Serge Ibaka. A stretch for Serge Ibaka. And they couldn't beat Golden State. Think about it.
Right.
Which big three would you rather have? Which big three would you rather have? Would you rather have Steph, Klay, and Draymond, or would you rather have Russ, Durant, and Ibaka? I'm taking Russ, Durant, and Ibaka. I'm sorry, I am.
Absolutely.
And Russ will leave with that. And let's just be honest with our friend. Russ couldn't win a title with Durant in how many years did they play together? 8 years? They played together 8 years, right? Yeah. Well, Curry and Durant won it their first year together. Russ puts these big numbers up. Doesn't really do much in the playoffs, and people give him a pass. Oh, he doesn't have enough help. He's so tired. I saw 6 foot, 165-pound Allen Iverson make a magical playoff run. Last year, Russell Westbrook, who's bigger, stronger, and taller than Allen Iverson, against Houston in the first round, goes out in 5 games. Oh, he's tired. He doesn't have enough help. Where was that for Iverson when Iverson, you know, was getting beat up in the 2001 playoffs? It was nowhere.
And my thing, and I hate, like, especially with Curry, because people say like he's such a liability on defense, and like I'm like, look, I'd rather have a guy who tries. Curry tries. And I like, to me, I never understand what the hate with Curry. Be that type of guy that's gonna be around 10 to 15 years because he is fundamentally sound. He has a great basketball IQ. And I think that's what. You know, like you said, it's so hypocritical because we'll kill a guy because he deficient in this area or this and the third. But when you got a guy who is an all around good player, it's just like take your pick. Like who is the person that in essence is not going to get any heat? That's the person that you're just going to love and you're going to defend. Like to me, and I think is to me. I think the stuff is more so of more so than his game hate. Because to me, I think Steph Curry is a guy I think that everybody should model their game after, especially nowadays, especially when we lived in the ESPN Sports Center type of, generation where, a lot of people lack fundamentals. You got like a Steph Curry who has a game that's going to transition when he's in his 30s or or what have you. So I just never understand the Curry hate.
Yeah. Oh yeah. Well, you know what? And you know what? The thing that kills me is people were talking about how bad the defender is. Like, I'm really big on Synergy. I think Synergy is a great website. If you look at Steph's stats on Synergy and they do analytics, and I know everybody's not a big fan of analytics. Steph is above average defender. You know who's a below average defender that these people don't talk about? Russell Westbrook's a below average defender. Russell Westbrook is a bad defender. He doesn't contest shots. He gambles way too much. So, it's funny how people pick and choose what they want to use as their argument because, last year, one of the big things people were saying about the MVP race was, James Harden doesn't play any defense. You look at the stats, James Harden was above average defender last year. Russell Westbrook wasn't. So,
like I said, I love to pick apart things, but like you said, I don't get it. I will never for the life of me understand, certain types of hate. And I think it's more so of from a personal hate, like as far as nothing to do with their particular games. I think it's just more so they just maybe just hate him off the court more so than anything.
Yeah.
I couldn't stand his dad when he was with the Hornets, man. I could not stand Dale Curry. For the life of me.
Oh man.
But hey.
The gray-haired assassin.
Yes, indeed, man. I remember that playoff series was in '97, man. I think it was like game 2. Man, he went off on us, man. I was like, come on.
Yeah. And he had that nice playoff run the year with the Raptors when they lost in 7 to the Sixers, and Vince missed that 3 at the buzzer. You know what's crazy? I was thinking about it. If Vince Carter makes that 3, we never see Allen Iverson in the finals. Allen Iverson never makes a deep playoff run in his career if Vince Carter makes that 3.
Yeah. And just imagine if social media was around back then, because that was the same day he graduated from the University of North Carolina.
Oh, yeah.
Just imagine.
They would have eaten him alive, man. I tell people this all the time. You kind of have to respect LeBron. LeBron is the first superstar to have social media going for the bulk of his career. Kobe, he has social media going, the latter half of his career. But, could you imagine, poor Jerry West in the 1960s, if there had been, social media, how bad he would have been treated? We talk about how bad LeBron gets it. Jerry West lost 8 times in the finals. Can you imagine that? Jerry West might have
there would have been a petition on change.org to change the NBA.
Oh yeah, I know.
That's man. They would have destroyed. They would have destroyed Jerry West, man. It would have been a done deal.
And another thing, we have to talk about with social media is that Derrick Rose has been belittled and made fun of for being injured. Could you imagine if Grant Hill had his injuries during social media? People think of Grant Hill as this great player. Him and Tracy McGrady as these great players who just, their careers were cut short because of injuries. imagine social media had been around back in like the late 90s, early 2000s, man. People would be eating those guys.
Man, them memes would have been fire.
And the Forrest Gump cast and everything like that. I mean, poor Derrick Rose, he can't win for losing.
So, and you know what's so funny? Because, like, especially they would have definitely killed Grant Hill because they would have used that handicap sign and would have had Grant Hill on the picture. I guarantee you that. I'm telling you. Them memes would have been terrible, man. They would have been heartless.
They would have been out of control. Yeah. Man, I agree with you. They would have been out of control. So, you ready to wrap this thing up?
So definitely, it's actually on YouTube Live now, and we'll definitely it'll be on my YouTube page. I definitely send a link out today, and yeah, man. So where they can find you on social media?
Facebook. Where's my Facebook? 1 second. I forget my Facebook. 1 second. I forget my Facebook. I don't have Twitter. I'm not a fancy guy. 1 second. You can find me on Facebook. My Facebook page is facebook.com/jamian.e.daily. Yeah, I don't have Twitter. I just have Facebook.
Yeah. Now, of course, you can follow me. Follow me on Facebook. You can check it out. Just type in Chris Couch Coach Powell. That'll be there. Also, you can follow me on Instagram, Couch_Coach on Instagram, and also on Twitter. You can hit me up on the Couch Coach, THA Couch Coach, and also check me out on Fridays. Couch Coach Live every Friday from 7 to 9 p.m. on LegacyInternetRadio.com. For, of course, for JB and Couch, you guys for checking out this week's EuroStep podcast. We'll catch you guys next week, man.
Okay, we'll see you next week. Have a good one.
All right.
All right.